Hello everyone, this is Enzo Universe. This is the first sharing of this Chinese calligraphy handwriting sharing series. We are going to talk about how to hold your hard-tipped pen to help writing Chinese better. The 7 following topics will give us the answer on how to hold your pen step by step. The main logic is what, how, why, and why not, plus one Easter egg at the end of this video. So don't go away. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, or share with like-minded people. Your supports are the great motivation for me to finish this Chinese calligraphy sharing series. The first topic is Chinese calligraphy is an art of movements. First concept you should notice, and this concept runs through the whole calligraphy, including both hard-tipped pen and soft brush handwriting. This important concept is Chinese calligraphy is an art of movements in the three-dimensional world. That's right. Even though it is written on the two-dimensional paper, it's still a three-dimensional art. My overall explanation is every movement of pen is a dance of the body and a trail of the writer's spirits left behind. They are recorded by the calligraphy works. To be more specific, our movements of pen determines the length, curve, angle, strength, and speed of the strokes and the Chinese characters. And who we are, what kind of people we are, determines these movements. The picture now demonstrates the variety movements of the dancer. In sync reflects the variety of length, curve, angle, strength, and speed of the strokes behind her. Different fronts have different movements. It doesn't mean you need to do exactly as the dancer doing. It's just an abstract, imagistic, and visualized expression. This may be confusing right now because some of you haven't felt the real writing. We will discuss this question in details in the future, and you will review this step by step while we learn and feel the Chinese handwriting. Let's just keep this concept in mind first. Well, if you want to watch the full version of this dance to get a sense of how calligraphy is an art of movement, you can search a dance video called Cursive. This is a dance masterpiece by a Chinese choreographer, Lin Hwai-min, who drew inspiration from Chinese calligraphy. Now we know Chinese calligraphy is an art of movements. The way of holding a pen and the way of moving your pen should also share the same feeling of other kinds of movements, such as keep relaxed, free, flexible, comfort, effortless, these kind of feelings during your movements. The second topic is why how to hold your pen is so important. So let's think about some movements that you're familiar with or good at. The movements could include sports, playing instruments, dancing, or even your daily activities. Recall how you start to learn the movement. Most likely, you'll start with the ready position of that movement, like how to stand or sit, how to put your hand and fingers or legs and feet, how to hold your sport equipment or instruments, how to move your body, and how to exert force, and so on. To be specific, like some sports, basketball, hockey, badminton, tennis, or cricket, etc. You need to learn how to hold your bat or racket to better control them. Or some instruments, piano, guitar, violin, drums, etc. You must learn how to hold your instruments, how to put your hand and fingers on it, how to hold a stick or bowls, how to press the key or the strings, and so on. If you play them well, you must know how important the ready position is. It can almost determine your performance in that movement, like helps you play fast, easy, flexibly, precisely, and control your sports equipment or instruments as you want.
So does handwriting, especially Chinese handwriting. The way of holding your pen is the ready position in Chinese handwriting. As you can see on the screen, Chinese characters' strokes have so many varieties and details. You need to hold your pen in a way that can help your fingers and the pen cooperate very well to finish those movements. Unsuitable ways of holding your pen will influence your writing performance. I will talk about this in the 5th part. Just like unsuitable ready position may influence your performance in the movements you just thought about. Well, by the way, the font shown now is not the one we are about to share. I just show you the movements of my hand and fingers, as well as the varieties of Chinese characters strokes. So the main logic is, since we know Chinese calligraphy is an art of movements, and we know the ready position is vital to movements. Well, pen holding is the ready position of Chinese calligraphy, so pen holding is vital to Chinese calligraphy. This is why holding your pen is important.
Third topic, what do we gain from pen holding? According to the process of writing and the characteristics of Chinese characters, there are three main aims. The first and most important aim is keeping healthy. We don't want to harm our body because insisting handwriting practice. I've seen a lot of people holding their pen in wrong ways. As they practice handwriting or do homework over the years, their neck, back, or shoulders get sore and weak, or even develop problems. Their eyesight became worse, their hands or fingers get painful sometimes. So please pay attention to the tips I will share with you about how to sit, how to protect your neck, back, hands, fingers, eyesight, and body. The second is we can actually see the whole picture of what we really write, which means we can see the nib or tip of our pen and the whole composition and the real posture of characters. Someone holding their pen with their fingers blocking the side of the nib, or someone write with their paper stand. In this case, they may hard to observe the precise details of the strokes and characters they write. It will be harder to write good-looking composition. The third is we can control our pen moving as our wish to make sure we can write what we want or what should be. There are so many different kinds of strokes. Each kind of strokes has so many varieties and details. This requires our controlling pen ability quite high. We can control our pen in a precise, flexible, free way. Keep relaxed, laid-back feelings while we are writing, just like the feelings of the movements we thought about at the beginning of this video. Here are the main aims you should keep in mind, but how exactly should we hold our pen? How to hold your pen? A great Chinese calligraphy master of the Song Dynasty called Su Shi said in his book 论书,执笔无定法,要使须而宽, which means there is no only specific way to hold your pen, but it should follow the basic principles, that is relaxed fingers and a hollow palm, which allows for flexible pen movements. How to understand this saying? I think there are two key points. First, there's no only way, but there must be some correct ways and some incorrect ways. You can't hold a pen however you like. Different ways of holding a pen should follow the one principle, that is relaxed fingers, hand, wrist, and flexibly controlling the pen. Second, you may find your own way according to my suggestion. Just don't do exactly the same I tell you to do. You need to think and feel the way of holding a pen according to your own condition, because everyone has different body structures, size, or flexibility. So I'm going to tell you a normal way of holding a pen and why we are doing so and what is not suggested. You should learn the normal way. The more important is you need to understand the reason and the principles. Based on these, you may find your own way of holding a pen according to your own situation and feelings. Remember this. Now, I need you to grab a pen and a paper sitting in front of your desk. There are several key points of holding a pen. I hope you can really do and feel what I tell you in the following time. If you only watch this video but doing nothing, your brain may tell you confidently, yeah, I know exactly how to do it, but your hand may say, what? So now, pause and go. Welcome back. First is sitting posture. I need to emphasize the sitting posture, which may be ignored by a lot of people. I will use these toys to demonstrate. First is the height of your chair and the desk. The height of your chair should almost as high as your lower leg, and you can put your feet on the floor. Especially if your chair is a turning chair, you should put your feet on the floor to keep the chair steady from turning. The desk should as high as your stomach, or as high as one palm width higher than your belly button. At this height, you can observe what you write in a comfortable way, and your arms can also write in a good condition. If your desk is too high relatively, the paper may be too close to your eyes that may cause nearsightedness. If your desk is too low, your head may tilt down too much or your body hunch forward. These two actions will increase great pressure on your neck and back. If you write in this posture too long time, it will harm your body or even permanently. It is strongly not suggested. Second, your desk or whatever you write on should be almost horizontal. This helps your wrist keep relaxed and your arm keeps stable. Otherwise, if what you are writing on is inclined surface, the weight of your arm most likely drag your hand falling down. You need to pay attention to keep your hand stable. This will influence your controlling the pen. Third, you need to sit straight. If you lean your body forward, the weight of your body will press on your forearms and wrists. This will influence your ability to control your pen. So you should also sit straight to keep your body vertical. Keep your shoulder relaxed and balanced, and gently tuck your chin. In this sitting posture, your hand will be almost relaxed and flexible to write. Your neck, back, spine, shoulders, eyes will all feel comfortable and stay away from a lot of harm. Also, don't lean your body left or right side. This will also harm your neck, spine, and your eyesight.
Next, the overall way of holding your pen is just relax your fingers, hand, wrist, and arm as much as possible, like swing your hand and wrist to relax them. Now, put them on the desk like this, and put a pen among the first 3 fingers. That's it. This is almost the natural way of holding your pen. But there are still some important skills I will show you one by one. I'm going to introduce 2 systems that I hadn't heard elsewhere, so they are just my personal idea, not widely accepted by professional teachers, but I think it's good for my explanation and your understanding and remembering. And they are not conflict with the normal way of holding a pen that is widely recognized. The 2 systems are holding system and the supporting system. Let's start with the holding system. The holding system includes middle finger, index finger, thumb, the base knuckle of the index finger, and the wrist. There are 2 functions of a holding system. One is keeping your pen steady, stable, and pointing to a correct direction. The other is controlling your pen moving stable, freely, flexibly in 3 dimensions. 2 dimensions are on the paper, 1 dimension is perpendicular to the paper. Let's start with the middle finger. The duty of middle finger is mainly pushing the pen to the left or upper left directions. We mainly use middle finger to write left falling or hook strokes. On the middle finger, the pen is put where the nail meets the flesh, on the growing point around here, no higher than the first knuckle. By the way, as you can see, here is my knuckle, but here has a fleshy bulge. This is caused by using too much strength to hold the pen for decades. It might be permanent by now, so hold your pen gently and naturally. We'll talk about this later. Next is index finger. There are 2 duties of index finger. First is pushing the pen to the falling direction, including vertical and right falling or left falling when we use index finger to write vertical-ish strokes. Second is controlling the strength written on the paper. Use the tip of your index finger to touch and control the pen. Around the growing point, index finger should put a bit higher than the middle finger. Next is the thumb. The main duty of thumb is pushing the pen to the right or upper right directions. We may use thumb to write horizontal-ish strokes. The belly of the thumb tip touches the pen around the green area, just a bit higher than the index finger. It may look like a bit bent, but it is relaxed. Next is the base knuckle of your index finger. Your pen should stay around the base knuckle of your index finger, and you can find a bony bulge on your hand around the K. Put the pen on the left side of the knuckle will be better, around the green O area. The purpose of this is mainly to enlarge the range of writing in every directions, as well as easy for you to control the pen. But don't put it too forward, like on the second joint of index finger, and also don't fold your pen on the web between your thumb and index finger. I will call this area as thumb web in this video. I will explain the reasons later. Next is wrist. Our wrist enholding system mainly have two functions. Function 1 is enlarge our range of writing. When we write long horizontal and left falling directions strokes, only stretch our fingers may be hard to write that long, but with the help of wrist, we can write longer strokes. Function 2 is helping our stroke keep steady. When we write long strokes, keep strokes steady is hard only by fingers. By turning our wrist on a pivot point is similar to using a compasses. We can draw a perfect arc by using a compasses. Our wrist can help us write more steady strokes. Above is the holding system. Next is supporting system. The supporting system include ring finger, little finger, wrist, and forearm. The whole supporting system has three functions. First, supporting the weight of your arm, hand, fingers, and the pen so that this weight won't distribute it mostly on your pen nib, so you can control your pen easier. Second, keeping your hand and the fingers stable so that your fingers won't shaking while you are writing. Third, making sure your pen pointing to the right direction so that your fingers can write strokes with the right actions in a flexible way. Let's start with the little finger and the ring finger. The outside of your little fingertip and the ring fingertip touch the paper, or maybe the side of the whole first segment of your little finger and middle fingertip touch the paper. Don't put all the outside of your little finger and the palm on the paper. I will explain this in the fifth part. And the ring finger had to put above your little finger. These two fingers support the middle finger to keep the holding system in a suitable height, and also keep your hand stable, and also keep the weight of your hand, fingers, and the pen to avoid the nib supporting those weight, so you can control the strength of your writing easily. There should be a hollow in your palm. This space here is large enough to hold an egg. Don't bend these two fingers into your palm, or don't let the front side of these two fingers touch the paper, or let me say kneel on the paper. Don't do this. Use the side of these two fingers, support the middle finger like this, relaxed, and put them on the paper like this. All right. Next is to put your hand on the paper. Your palm should only touch the paper at around this green point. At the base of your palm here has a little bony bump. Finding this bump, put it only on the paper. This is the only point your palm touching the paper. Your palm should not lay down. It means the whole outside of your palm should not touch the paper. We'll explain this in the fifth part. This bony bump is like a pivot point of a compasses that helps your writing steady or stable. Our wrist usually pivot on this bony bump to write. Next, put most of your forearm or even your elbow on the desk as relaxed and natural as possible. Let your desk support the weight of your arm. The weight of the arm is evenly distributed on the forearm and the wrist or even elbow and your fingers. Your shoulder should also feel relaxed and should not feel like lifting your arm. If part of your forearm is not put on the desk, the weight of your upper arm may lift your wrist up because of the balance. At this time, you have to use your shoulder to lift your upper arm to keep your forearm and the wrist on the desk. This posture may cause your right shoulder higher than the other in daily life. So you'd better put most of your forearm on the desk. My suggestion is sitting at a distance that your body around one palm width far from your desk. Your right forearm and wrist should be straight naturally. This means your wrist should be relaxed. Do not bend up or down. Your forearm, wrist, bony bump, little finger, and the ring finger all consist the supporting system. It's like the base of an excavator. We should keep the base stable, steady, and relaxed so that our hand can write stably and precisely like the excavator working. Based on the above key points, you should adjust the position holding on your pen according to the size of your pen and hand. Just keep all the key points mentioned above are correct. You can hold your pen higher if your hand is large, or lower if your hand is small. Or if your palm get used to lying down, you can hold your pen lower to turn your wrist. Or if your supporting fingers are not supporting like crawling down, like this, you can turn your wrist to let your hand kind of standing up and hold your pen higher. If you are still not sure which position you should hold on your pen, I suggest you try to hold at a position that is about your 2 fingers width away from the pen nib. Like this. Next, let's draw a fake clock here. You can also pause this video to draw one. It helps you tell the direction your pen pointing to. Now, keep your holding and the supporting system relaxed and put the bony bump on your wrist on around 5 o'clock. Let your pen tip point to around 11 o'clock. Point to 10 o'clock or half past 11 o'clock. This range may be all fine, but earlier or later will be a problem when you write strokes. I will explain this in the 5th part. One more important thing is where you write should be around in front of your right chest or right ear. This will help you better observe your pen tip and good for your pen pointing to 11 o'clock. Like if you put your paper in front of right shoulder or left front of your body, your hand needs to go lefter or righter. It will be hard for your pen to pointing to 11 o'clock. Or you need to stretch your arm right out. It's also uncomfortable. When we write in right position, we need to adjust the position of paper to keep our hand stay around the same position to make sure our pen pointing to around 11 o'clock. The job of left arm and hand is keeping the paper steady and flat, as well as adjust the position of paper. So just put your left palm on the left side of your paper. I don't recommend you put your left hand below the desk or hold your head or do something else, because you may feel hard to control the paper, and this will influence your body balance or even harm your neck and spine. These are the key points about ready posture of holding a pen. So the next question is how to control the directions and the stability of your pen when you're writing, or why pointing to 11 o'clock is a better solution. Since we have known how to hold your pen, to help you understand and remember, I will show you what we usually do when we write. You can also try following my movements. Hope this can help you better remember those key points and understand why our pen pointing to 11 o'clock and how our fingers and wrist cooperate with each other. Remember when we're talking about holding system, the duty of first 3 fingers. When your pen pointing to around 11 o'clock, those fingers works better following their duties. Like this. Thumb pushes the pen to write heng, and index finger push down to write shu. Index finger, middle finger, and the wrist work together to write pie. And the index finger and the thumb work together to write na and dian. To write other complex strokes are in the similar way. We will learn each stroke in future sharing videos. When I'm talking about using which finger, I mean the finger exert most of the strength. Other holding system fingers are helping to keep the pen stable. It doesn't mean you can move other fingers away. Okay, you can try yourself and find the feelings of fingers to write different strokes. Since you've gained some insight from these initial attempts, Let me explain why our pen should point to 11 o'clock. To help you better understanding, I shall bring up two assumptions. The first assumption, if we want to push an object to move in a straight line, the fewer the directions of the applied forces, the more steady the object will move. What does this mean? Here is an experiment. If I want to push this cup to move in a straight line, when I use one finger, no matter how hard or gently, how fast or slow, as long as my finger push in one direction, the cup will go straight. But when I use two fingers, only when both fingers cooperate in a certain and steady strength, speed, and direction, the cup can go straight line. As long as one of the two fingers change any strength or speed or direction, and the other finger doesn't follow up, the cup will turn its direction. This means it's much easier to control one finger than controlling two fingers to cooperate. So when writing, we prefer use less finger or even less knuckles and joints to finish one movement because it's easier to control our pen steadily by using one or less finger than using multiple fingers. The second assumption, large joints and major muscles handle big movements, while small joints and the small muscles control precise detail actions. This means when we control our arm muscles to keep our supporting system steady, and we can use wrist to enlarge the range of writing, and our finger muscles, knuckles to make details of strokes when writing. We should not use our arm to control the details of strokes, including the strength, speed, angle, and so on of this. Remember these two assumptions. I will refer to these frequently. When our pen pointing to 11 o'clock, as you can see the direction of our fingers on the pen, they are like this sketch. On the left is thumb, on the top is index finger, and on the right side is middle finger. If you've studied force analysis in classical Newtonian mechanics, it may be easier for you to analyze and understand the duties of these three fingers. If you haven't learned it, it doesn't matter. Just think about the pushing cup example. When writing horizontal strokes, we may use thumb to push the pen from left to right. When writing vertical strokes, we may use index finger to push the pen downward. When writing left falling strokes, index finger push downward and the middle finger push left, so the resultant force is diagonally falling to the left. When writing right falling strokes, index finger push downward and the thumb pushing right, so the resultant force is diagonally falling to the right. And our wrist can participate when writing long strokes, like long horizontal strokes or left falling strokes. So when the nib pointing to 11 o'clock, we're using the least fingers to write, especially the most frequent strokes, vertical or horizontal. But if our pen point to around 9 o'clock, for example, like this, the sketch will be like this, right? Look at thumb, index finger, and middle finger. So when we write horizontal strokes, index finger push around this direction and the thumb push to this direction. They have to cooperate very carefully, like I used two fingers to push the cup. If we want to write long strokes, we can't not use our wrist. When writing vertical or left falling strokes, index finger will push around to this direction and the middle finger push to around to the left direction, to like this or this. If we want to write long strokes, we can hardly use our wrist because this action will turn the stroke into a different direction. The index finger, middle finger, and the wrist have to cooperate very carefully when writing right falling strokes. When writing right falling strokes, it may be easier. We can only use index fingers. As you can see, when our pen pointing to 9 o'clock, you will need more fingers to cooperate to finish the same strokes. This violates the first assumption. Well, someone may say, according to your theory, why not pointing to 12 o'clock? Because thumb and index finger move more horizontally or vertically. Well, you can try yourself. In this direction, either your arm will squeeze your body, or you have to move your paper and hand in front of your right shoulder. Your head and eyes have to turn to write somehow, and you have to look sideways at the characters you write. These are not good for your healthy and your observation. And when pointing to 11 o'clock, our fingers can work well enough, and your body, arm, neck, head, eyes, and so on are all comfortable. So in conclusion, the pen pointing to around 11 o'clock is the optimal solution after considering multiple factors. Another big problem that had been trapping me for decades is strength. The strength of holding a pen and the strength written on the paper. The key to write good-looking Chinese is precisely to control both of the strength. First, the strength of holding a pen. Remember, we recall how you start to learn some movements at the beginning of this video. Now let's recall how you're exerting your strength in those movements. We are not holding our sports equipment or instruments so hard, so tight all the time to control them. We can control the strength at a relaxing, flexible condition, right? So that's holding our pen and writing. These feelings share the same. I used to hold my pen tightly and wrote so hard on the paper. It seems I was trying my every bit of effort to control the pen, but in reality, that was just a wasting of strength and my fingers just fought with each other. This had little to do with controlling my pen. Like when we clench our fist tightly, it is shaking obviously. So if I hold my pen very hard, literally I'm choking my pen and it is hard to control the pen stable. According to the first assumption, it is hard for us to keep the composition strength of all fingers steady. Like this sketch, because every finger is exerting strength. In this case, the strokes we write will be hardly keep steady. But if our fist relaxed, and we can see the fist almost steady, so just hold the pen in a relaxed way to keep it steady. The strength our finger exert just prevent the pen from escaping from our hand will be fine. Use the appropriate fingers and wrist to exert strength to write. The second disadvantage of holding our pen hard is very tiring when hold long time. Someone may say they're still shaking when writing even their hand and fingers keep relaxed. The fundamental reason is poor ability of control the pen. I will share some basic practice on improving the controlling pen ability in next video. And you can also improve the ability by daily writing practices. By these practices, your hand could find a feeling of relaxed, natural, flexible when writing. Improve the ability of controlling the pen by practicing with patience. Don't choose a wrong way, like holding your pen very tense. Like when you start to learn walking as a little child, you may walk unstable and may fall down sometime. You just kept practicing walking. You didn't choose to smash your feet on the floor or tense your legs, right? So when you practice writing, don't hold your pen tight or write very hard on the paper. Just relax. So second is the strength of writing on the paper. In Chinese calligraphy, precise control over writing pressure allows strokes to vary in thickness and texture. Here are some examples of strokes that don't have and have precise control over writing pressure. I think the details and varieties of strokes thickness and texture is obvious. Needless to say which one is better. So don't write so hard on the paper all the time. It also can't help you write strokes steady. You need developing precise control over writing pressure to master stroke dynamics. I will show you how to practice in the next video. The pace and the strength when we write is dynamic. It is shifting between heavy and light, slow and fast. That's why I keep repeating let your hand or fingers feel flexible, free, relaxed, because in this way, you can control the pace and the strength, control the details of strokes.
Let's briefly summarize the key points mentioned above. Here is a checklist for you. I suggest you sort out, understand, and remember these key points. And while you practice controlling your pen and the writing, you should go through this checklist one by one. You will get used to hold your pen in correct ways generally. When you are used to this, you will write naturally. You can simplify this checklist as 7 yes points plus 3 no areas plus 11 o'clock plus paper plus relax, which means 7 should points on your hand and 3 should not areas not on your hand. Your pen nib points to 11 o'clock, your paper located in front of your right chest, and relaxed all your body, shoulder, arm, wrist, hand, and fingers. The first work I suggest is listing your own checkpoints list according to what I've told you and your own condition. Your key points list should make sure you understand and remember the skills of holding a pen. And you need to check if you really follow these key points while daily practice. Also remember standing up and doing some relaxing or stretching activities around every 1 hour of writing to keep healthy. In conclusion, the sitting posture, supporting system, and holding system form a complete, interconnected, and a unified way of pen holding, where they work in concert with each other. Each key point in the checklist has its own duty and coordinated with other key points to jointly complete the complex and variable movements of writing. Every key point has some tolerance. Suitable adjustment will not break this system, but unsuitable adjustments, like those in the fifth part, may break this unified way of pen holding. So you can adjust some details according to your own condition, as long as not changing the fundamental duties of each key points. The following common problems are some not suggested way of pen holding. In fifth part, let me explain some common problems. I guess the audience of this video have quite different habits of holding and moving your pen. Let's do some practices and experiments to show you the reasons why holding the pen as I suggested and what will happen if we're holding a pen in some ways I don't recommend. First is sitting posture. We've discussed bad sitting postures harm your body and influence your practice. I can't help emphasizing again that healthy is top priority. There is no regretted later. I have seen a lot of people have irreversible damage of their body because of bad sitting posture habit. They are heavier nearsightedness, weak neck, back pain, turned spine, or unbalanced shoulders, etc. Several famous Chinese calligraphy masters emphasize sitting upright with your back straight and your head centered to make sure your characters written in good posture. You can imagine there is a line pulling your head straight up and gently tuck your chin. Keep this in mind while you are writing. Let's talk about holding system problems. First is thumb-related problems. Problem 1. Your thumb is hugging index finger like this or being hugged by index finger like this. There are 3 main results. First is limiting the flexibility and range of both index finger and the thumb. In this normal way, we can write around this range. But if hugging happens, let me take this as an example. We can write only in this little range. Second, in this way, your index finger and thumb seems stuck together. So some simple strokes should have just used one finger to write, as I just mentioned, but instead using multiple fingers. This violates the first assumption we talked about. Third,
Your thumb may block your sightness of the nib, so you may have to lean your body to left side and turn your head to the right. This may cause your spine and your neck twisted, your eyesight lose balance. I have seen someone writing like this. Their left eye is around 600 degrees nearsighted, and their right eye is around 200 degrees nearsighted. So this really harm your body. Problem 2. The knuckle of thumb touching the pen. Like use this knuckle to touch the pen. First result also limit the range of write. There will be less space to control the pen. So if I use the tip of the thumb the normal way to write, the nib starts here naturally. I can write this long. But if I use my knuckle, the nib can just start here and just can write this short. That's how thumb limits the written space. Second result. It's harder to control the direction of movements. As you can see, if I put the thumb tip on the pen, there will be two knuckles work together to control the direction in a wide range. But if you put the pen on the first knuckle, there will be less flexibility to control the pen. Problem 3. Tense and stiff. The results and the disadvantages of holding your pen too tight is mentioned in strength control part. Here I just mentioned some symptoms, like first or second knuckle is tense, or holding the pen with the side of the thumb, or thumbnails hurts the index finger. If some actions similar to these, I suggest considering changing this. Problem 4. Your thumb is as high or lower than your index finger. This causes the pen unstable on your hand. While you're writing, different fingers will exert forces as different directions of strokes. If your thumb and index finger grab the pen in the same height, or index finger is higher than the thumb, when you are writing, your pen may be wave or turn as your finger changing, exerting force. So I strongly suggest you put your thumb just a bit higher than the index finger, like this. Here are some index finger related problems. The most common problem is also tense and stiff, like your index finger is bent like this. As index finger is very important finger to control the details of strokes, I strongly suggest find a relaxed and flexible way of controlling it. If your index finger is truly relaxed and put lower than the thumb, it may be fine or maybe not. You need to figure out in the future practices. My suggestion is try to use the tip of your index finger, like you're picking up something very small, like this, to grab your pen. I know someone's index finger are soft, they are easily to bend. If this grab makes your finger very tense, alright, just use the relaxed way. The other problem is put your index finger aside of your pen, like this. As we analyzed just now, this breaks the duty of index finger and the first assumption. The most common middle finger related problems are the position your pen put on the middle finger. If your pen put too forward on the middle finger, the pen cannot get enough support and it may change the direction of controlling the pen, if misusing the duty of middle finger. If you put your pen too upward, your middle finger will limit your movement, like this. The tip of your middle finger will be limited by the paper or by your ring finger. This will limit the range and flexibility of your pen, and it will be hard to write right falling strokes. So you need to find a suitable point to put your pen on the middle finger. I suggest is the nail meets the flesh. And you also should put your middle finger lower than the index finger. It is suggested that the pen should put on the base knuckle of the index finger. Well, someone put the pen on the web of the thumb. Here is a big common problem. Let me analyze this little by little. First problem is this may cause Chinese character not standing vertically. There is a lot of people get used to write with their pen on the thumb web. It is recommended for handwriting in a lot of languages. Take alphabetic languages as an example. Holding pen like this may match the characteristics of the alphabet. Most Western letters are mainly composed of straight lines, inconsistent directions, and curved arcs. Most letters slant to the right. If you put your pen on the thumb web and draw a circle with your hand steady, you can find the result is almost a right slant ellipse. This means your pen is easier to reach top right and lower left, but hard to reach the opposite direction. This matches the direction of letters, so it is suitable to write the letters slant to the right. But the overall posture of Chinese characters are mostly vertical. So if you continue to write with your pen on the thumb web, it will be hard to keep the Chinese characters stayed vertical, but may turn them into right slanting like the letters in Western languages. Another problem is your pen can hardly keep stable. When writing letters, you can use wrist to write, but when you write vertical strokes in Chinese, you are supposed to use index finger to push your pen downward. You can see the pen is moving back and forth on the thumb web. The flash of your thumb web will disturb your pen from keeping stable. Further, when your index finger push your pen, you'll find most of your strength is pressing the paper, not pushing the pen downward. It is because your pen is more lying down when you put it on the thumb web compared to when you put on the base knuckle of index finger. In this case, it will be hard for you to control the strength of writing. If you have learned force analysis in classical Newtonian mechanics, this picture may help you understand the reason. If you haven't learned, just forget about it. Since your index finger feels hard to push the pen downward, your thumb and the ring finger may also take part in to drag your pen downward. This also breaks the first assumption, so your pen won't be steady. What's more, your pen might not working well in this angle. To avoid these problems, put your pen on the base of index finger. Now, let's draw a circle as big as possible. You can find the circle is almost round. This means your pen is easier to reach every direction. And when we write vertical strokes again, you can see the pen is kind of pivot on this green OK point. There is less disturbing, and most of the strength of your index finger is pushing down to write, not pressing on the paper. And you can finish this movement without the thumb and the ring finger dragging the pen. These two fingers is just helping the pen keep stable, and your pen works well. All problems solved. Now we understand the reason why our pen should put on the base of index finger. Here are some actions may not help. First is your index finger is put higher than the thumb. Second, index finger is bent, so the actual pressure point is higher than the thumb. In these two examples, because of the balance, your index finger will press down the pen to the thumb web. Next problem is too low or too high holding a pen. You can hold the pen a little bit lower or higher. Remember the 2 finger width away from your pen nib. But don't hold it too low to block the side of the nib, or too high that your palm is lying down. That means the side of your palm is touching the paper. I will explain this in palm lying down problems. Here are some problems about supporting system. The problem is your supporting system press hard on desk or paper. Just put the whole supporting system on paper or desk naturally. Your arm should not press the desk or paper, nor your body leaning forward to let your arm or wrist or finger or pen nib support the weight of your body. This will make your writing very tiring and limit the flexibility of your wrist and hand. Next problem is 2 supporting fingers does not support. If these 2 fingers are not supporting the middle finger and hand, they bend into palm, like they kneeling on the paper. The front side of the finger touches the paper. The problem is your holding system will float in the air. The weight of your holding fingers and the pen will smash on the paper. It may lead to shaking and hard to control the strength written on paper. You can adjust these 2 supporting systems by standing up a little bit. The key is your ring finger supports the middle finger to keep the holding system stable, and your little finger supports the ring finger. A hollow should in your palm. Next problem is palm lying down to the left or right side. The first scenario is your palm lying down to left side, like playing snooker or pool. The 2 main problems are 1.
lost the function of supporting fingers. Your supporting fingers were supposed to support the middle finger, but when you turn left side, they are not supporting, and the weight of your holding system and the pen will press on the pen nib. 2. Your hand will not have a single pivot point. The bony bump was supposed to be the pivot point. When your wrist lying left side down, there is a line or plane on your wrist touching the paper. If you turn your wrist to write horizontal strokes, it will be hard to pivot on the one spot to keep the turning stable. It's like the compasses lost its pivot leg. The second scenario is your palm lying down to the right side. The side of your palm is touching the paper. Problem 1 is you may hold your pen higher or stretch your fingers out. These will add difficulties of controlling your pen. Problem 2 is it will be harder for your index finger to push the pen downward to write straight vertical strokes. Remember the duty of index finger? It is supposed to write straight vertical strokes pushing the pen. If your palm is in the suggested position, then push your index finger. The track is almost a straight line. This will help your index finger better control your vertical stroke straight. However, when your palm is lying down, pushing your index finger back and forth again, you will see the track of your index fingertip is a big curve. If the curve is big, the vertical stroke will be hard to keep straight. The next problem is someone may prefer to lift their wrist to write. Maybe because your forearm is not steady, this leaves your pen unsteady. Especially when writing a lot of strokes, the palm is supposed to pivot about the point of wrist base to keep the stroke steady, like the pivot point of compasses. If you lift your wrist up, this point will not work. You have to keep stroke steady with your holding system. This will be very hard. It's like draw a circle without compasses. And what's more, the weight of your hand will distribute it more on your fingers and the pen nib. It will be hard for you to control the strength. The next problem is someone may bend their wrist to write. There may be several reasons. First is their fingers block the pen tip's view somehow. They have to bend wrist to see the pen tip. Bend down or up, or someone will also line down their palm. Second is someone may just remember the 11 o'clock rule, but forget that the whole supporting system should keep natural and relaxed. So if their forearm does not point correctly, and they want to point to 11 o'clock, they will bend their wrist. I've showed you how fingers and the wrist cooperate with each other when writing some strokes. Horizontal, left falling. As you can see, my wrist will turn to help writing strokes. If someone bends their wrist up, there will be less space for wrist to help you writing. If bend their wrist down, moving wrist will turn the directions of strokes, and they have to curl the fingers to try to control the directions. These movements break the first assumption and hard to write steady strokes. Or someone bend their wrist as well as line down their palm. This combines the disadvantages of two problems. Other than above two systems problem, here is a big problem about the directions of paper or body. I know someone get used to angle their notebook to match the handwriting slant. I was taught to write English like this. Or someone may sit leaning their body to the left or right side, mainly because in this position it is easier to write alphabetic languages or observe your nib. Or they just sit too casually. Well, on this aspect, the differences of the composition rules of alphabetic languages and the Chinese really matters. As I explained about why our pen should put on the base knuckle of index finger, most alphabetic languages are commonly written with a certain right word slant in horizontal lines, while Chinese characters mostly stand vertical straight. Chinese composition rules require all characters stay in horizontal and vertical lines. If you write Chinese angling the paper, it will be hard to form a good composition. So I suggest you to keep your paper and your body in a straight direction. Some problems about pointing to 11 o'clock or strength controlling I've analyzed in the fourth part. If you have other problems or questions, comment below this video and we may discuss later. About other conditions, sorry, I'm not able to list all conditions and analyze them in this video. I think the most important thing is trying, comparing, thinking, feeling, according to your condition by yourself, just like what I did. I think I have showed you how to try, compare, think, and feel to find a better way to hold a pen. Learn from what others tell you, but instead of just following their steps, focus more on critical thinking and adapting those methods to your own needs. One of the problems of self-learning is maybe no teacher helps you one-on-one. So I'm trying to help you avoid unnecessary detours. Like we can communicate directly in some platform, such as opening up a live or discuss on Reddit. I'm still thinking about it. If you need this kind of communication, please let me know in the comments below. I'll make the decision according to your feedback and let you know in the future. So based on all I suggested and not suggested above, you may need to decide whether you should adjust your way holding a pen according to your own conditions. If you still have no clue, here are some suggestions to help you evaluate and decide. First, check whether your way of holding a pen can achieve the targets we talked about in the third part. If the answer is no, you may need to adjust. Second, check your way of holding a pen has those problems we talked about in the fifth part or not. Does your body, back, neck, shoulder, wrist, fingers, eyes, and so on feel tired or painful while you are writing? If the answer is yes, then you may need to adjust. Third, you don't have to decide at this moment. You can feel more after you start to practice some basic exercise in the next video or strokes and characters in future videos. Will there be any problem that bothers you, such as you can't write stably or some strokes are pretty hard to write as requirements? If you have, think about what caused that problem. Will adjust your way of holding a pen solve that problem? Or just lack of practice? You can try, compare, feel, then you can decide. One more important thing you should know, changing the way of holding a pen is not easy. It takes a period of time, effort, and patience. I've changed my way of holding a pen for 2 or 3 times. Each time took me weeks or even 2 months to change the habit completely. It's not easy to change a habit that you get used to. So I strongly suggest you to form a good habit at first. Well, on the other hand, if you decide to change, don't feel worried, stressful about it. Just find the problems, solve them, that's it. A problem we know how to solve is not a real problem, right? If you start to change your way holding a pen, you may feel uncomfortable to write at first. That is because you are not getting used to it. Just give yourself some time and patience. Try those practices in the next video as requirements. I guess 2 weeks will do. There is no CIA or Mossad or something finding you holding a pen incorrectly, then breaking into your house and take you away or something. No one would harm you. So take it easy. It is very common when we learn new things. Just do what you think is right, but don't fool yourself, okay? Now I have something to say to those left-hand writing friends. If you don't have this issue, we can fast forward to this time. I know some of you write with your left hand. I must say there are quite challenges if you write Chinese with left hand. So I will show you something that may happen in the future practices and learning to help you thinking about what to do next, like using right hand or adjust some skills of writing or something else. As Chinese character handwriting is mostly based on right hand, so almost all the knowledge system, effectiveness, writing habits, masterpieces we learn from, and lessons we can find on the internet, etc., are all based on right hand writing. I cannot give you direct advices on left hand writing, so I assume you need to find your own way of writing based on the knowledge I shared with you. I suggest you need following the rules and principles of Chinese characters as strict as possible when you start to learn. You need to figure out how to move with your left hand and fingers, because Chinese calligraphy is an art of movements. I will show you some main challenges. First challenge,
writing Chinese with left hand is completely different movements from using right hand. As you can see in the fourth part, when I explain why our pen nib should point to 11 o'clock, I gave examples on writing different directions or strokes using different fingers or wrist. Let's use a horizontal stroke called heng in Chinese as an example. Heng mostly is left side lower than the right side. The direction is like going up. While we are writing using right hand, we use thumb and wrist mostly to write. For pro writers, we are adding details to make the strokes more charming, like this. How to exert force and move to form these details really matters. If you are a left-hand writer, it will be completely different movements. You can't write with your thumb and wrist as right hand. It will change the direction of heng, let alone the heng's details. It's like asking someone run backwards as fast as run forward. A lot of other strokes may have the same problems or even harder. The second challenge is left hand may block your sight that may influence writing. We know Chinese character writing orders is from left to right, from up to bottom. So when we write strokes or characters or the whole composition, if we use right hand, we can see what we have written. This is the reference for us to decide where we are going to write next. But if we use left hand, our left hand will cover what we have written. There will be less references for us to decide where to write next. These problems may happen when we write strokes, characters, and composition. Next is some suggestions. Here are some suggestions I came up with just based on my thinking or experiment, but lack of experimental verification. Hope they help. First is changing the order of writing. You may try changing the direction or order of writing strokes to make the movements more suitable for left-hand writing, like write heng from upper right to lower left maybe. Second suggestion is following the traditional rules. No matter how you change your way of holding a pen or changing the order of writing, you'd better follow the shape rules of strokes and the structure rules of characters. It is the fundamental of Chinese calligraphy. Don't break them until you really know them and come up with your own style. The specific rules I will share with you in the future videos. Third suggestion, try to avoid blocking or touching what you have written. I'm sorry that I'm not able to give you advices on how to deal with these problems. I assume you may solve these problems by your left-hand writing experiments. This principled suggestion just reminds you to form good Chinese character structure and composition. From my understanding, you may write different strokes orders or find the unique way to exert force. Turn paper a little bit maybe. Just try and practice. I believe you can find your own way. Another solution is maybe you can write with your right hand. Here are some advices to help you evaluate whether you should use right hand to write Chinese. First, if you are younger than around 10 years old, because your neural can be retrained, you can try to use right hand. Second, if you are aspiring to participate in professional Chinese calligraphy competition, it is suggested to use right hand. This does not mean if you use left hand to write, you are not qualified to participate in the competition. It means you need to try very, very hard to write scripts or work that fulfill the high requirements of Chinese calligraphy competition. If you just write in daily sense, you can continue to use left hand. Third, if you can use right hand almost as good as left hand, I strongly suggest you to use right hand. Fourth, I believe enough training can redeem lack of intelligence. So if you have enough time and patience, you can try training your right hand. Fifth, you don't have to decide at this very moment. You can try and practice while we learn more about writing. After you try and feel for some more time, you'll probably know the answer. And last, I need to tell you left-hand writing is not a defect. Don't feel upset or unconfident or any negative emotion if you use left hand and find hard to write. Chinese handwriting is hard for everyone, including most of native Chinese and myself, no matter which hand we are using. So don't bother if you decide to write with your left hand. It is also a gift. When you learn the basic principles of Chinese handwriting and try to understand some masterpieces, you can try to write with your own style. At that time, maybe you can create a unique font style. The beauty of Chinese calligraphy is a variety, individuality, personality. Oh, here is a comment I saw someday on Reddit. Just for your reference, I haven't discussed details with this commenter, so I cannot provide more information to you. Okay, let's summarize this video. In the first part, I shared you an important concept that Chinese calligraphy is an art of movements. We will feel and verify this concept through this whole sharing series video. Then we recall some movements that we're familiar with to emphasize the importance of ready posture and relaxed feeling in those movements. Since Chinese calligraphy is also a kind of movement, it shares the same feature, that is the ready posture as known as the way of holding a pen, and the relaxed feeling when writing is also important. In the third part, we talked about three main aims of pen holding, which are keeping healthy, seeing the whole composition, and controlling our pen relaxedly as our wish. In the fourth part, I shared you how exactly hold our pen in details to achieve the three aims. I brought up two systems to introduce how to hold our pen, and I brought up two assumptions to explain why our pen nib pointing to 11 o'clock is good for the two systems working together to write. In the fifth part, by giving examples of common problems or not suggest a way of holding a pen, I explain the reason or result respectively. I think they may help you evaluate if you'd better adjust your way of holding a pen. In the sixth part, I also give three advices on how to make the decision about adjusting your way of holding a pen. You just need some patience, time, and practices if you want to adjust. In the seventh part, I give some of my personal idea to left-hand writer friends. Hope they could help. One more thing I need to emphasize here is how to hold your pen is important, but not that important. Why it is important I have explained in this video, but how to control your pen is much more important than pen holding. All we shared in this video are preparing for how to control our pen. You should learn how to write with relaxed fingers and hand. I'm going to share some basic practices in the next video to help you find that feeling. Only after you get used to how to control your pen with relaxed fingers and hand, you can start the real Chinese calligraphy. Alright, these are almost all I want to share with you about how to hold your pen. It's really a long video. Hope you like it and finish watching. If you have problems when you practice, I suggest you come back and go through this video again. Check the key points and the common problems. There is an old saying of Confucius, 温故而知新, meaning, by reviewing the old, one can gain knowledge of the new. I'm confident that reviewing this video will help you. But don't go away. I've got one more Easter egg to share with you. The Easter egg is how to hold a pair of chopsticks. You still remember the holding system to hold a pen, right? Now replace the pen with a chopstick. Let me call this wide chopstick is chopstick 1, and then put the other chopstick on the tip of ring finger and the thumb web. Let me call this chopstick 2, or chopstick yellow. So when you pick food with chopsticks, keep the chopstick 2 steady. Just keep your ring finger steady and use the first 3 fingers to control the chopstick 1. Don't let them cross to pick. Control the strength with your holding system and forgetting about the supporting system. Use slight strength, pick up soft or fragile food. Use larger strength to pick up heavy food. Your chopsticks only touches each other on the tip. They are not parallel or crossed. Or you can separate or cut food with your chopsticks. Next time when you use chopsticks, practice secretly. You might just unlock calligraphy level chopstick skills, right? And there is an interesting saying in China that the further you hold chopsticks from the tip, the further you will stay from hometown. Alright, finally that's all of this video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, or sharing. Your supportive are the great motivation for me to finish this sharing series. Thank you. See you around.